Escape the fear trap. How understanding humanity's deepest wounds can set you free and save our world. What if the chaos you see in the world today, the wars, the greed, the control, the division, isn't just politics or power games? What if it's the result of something deeper and older? Something inside you too? Here's the uncomfortable truth. The world you live in was shaped by fear. Not just individual fear, but collective, civilizational fear. Fear built our systems, guided our decisions, and wired your beliefs. And if we don't face it now, it could destroy us. But here's the hope. Once you see it, you're no longer trapped in it. You can reclaim your life. And we can rebuild our future. You're about to understand how fear shaped this world, and how breaking free from it can reshape your life, your relationships, your choices, and maybe even save this planet. Not with fantasy, but with clarity. Let's start where it all began. There are 3 root fears that live in every human being. They've been with us since the beginning: the fear of impermanence, the fear of separation, and the fear of meaninglessness. The fear of impermanence is the fear that everything you love will be taken from you: your health, your youth, your loved ones, your life. The fear of separation is the terror of being alone, of being cast out, unloved, disconnected. And the fear of meaninglessness is the dread that none of it matters, that everything is random, empty, without purpose. These fears are ancient. They are the emotional DNA of humanity. And they shape the structures we live inside. Empires were built to escape impermanence. If life is short, then legacy matters. So kings, generals, and nations carved their names into history with conquest. They believed that by dominating others, they could outlive death. Religions rose to answer the fear of meaninglessness. They offered stories of creation, of afterlife, of divine purpose. They gave people something to cling to when life seemed cruel or random. But many of these systems also used fear to control: fear of hell, fear of punishment, fear of being unworthy. Tribes and nations hardened around the fear of separation. You're either one of us, or you're a threat. That fear gave birth to borders, armies, ideologies, and prejudice. It taught us to split the world into us and them, because to not belong meant danger, or death. And then came the systems. Colonialism, born from fear of scarcity and loss of power, plundered continents to secure resources. Capitalism, in its extreme, evolved from the fear of never having enough. If everything fades, if we are alone, then we must consume, gather, hoard, outperform. Even modern democracies are shaped by fear. Just listen to any political campaign, it's rarely about dreams. It's about threats. Immigrants, crime, disease, the other party. Fear wins votes. Education systems teach obedience over curiosity. Why? Because fear of failure is more useful for order than love of learning. Social media? It monetizes your fear of separation, making you addicted to likes, approval, and validation. It deepens the fear that if you're not seen, you don't exist. And then, there's the fear with the biggest cost of all. The fear that someone else's power could destroy you. That's what gave birth to the arms race. First with swords. Then guns. Then bombs. Then nuclear weapons. Fear became exponential. Entire nations stockpiled death to avoid being conquered. That fear didn't disappear after World War II. It grew smarter, more technological, more dangerous. Now we live in a world where just a handful of people, out of fear, could end civilization in minutes. Artificial intelligence, biotech, mass surveillance, automated drones, each new invention driven not by wisdom, but by the fear of falling behind. And you're living inside it. Breathing it. Making daily decisions from it. Fear taught you to be small. To not risk love. To not speak up. To work jobs you hate, to follow rules you didn't choose. It whispered that you're not enough. That if you change, you'll be alone. That it's better to survive numb than to live fully. But what if that's the real lie? What if fear didn't keep you safe, but stuck? And what if by healing these ancient fears in yourself, you could begin to shape something completely new, not just for you, but for all of us? Let's look closer. The fear of impermanence will never go away. But when you see it clearly, it transforms. You begin to live with urgency, not anxiety. You stop waiting. You forgive faster. You express more. You love deeper. You realize, everything ends, so everything matters now. The fear of separation dissolves when you connect, not through performance, but through presence. You don't have to be perfect to be loved. You don't have to hide to be safe. When you drop the mask, people find you. And you find them. And the fear of meaninglessness? It disappears the moment you stop chasing someone else's story and start living your own. Purpose doesn't come from outside. It's what happens when you offer what's real inside you, not for applause, but because you must. When you start living from this space, fear loses its grip. You say no when you mean no. You stop needing approval. You stop pretending. You start building. Not to prove yourself, but to create something better. You start to embody the opposite of fear, trust. And that trust ripples. Imagine leaders not driven by insecurity. Imagine economies not driven by fear of lack. Imagine communities not bonded by shared enemies, but by shared vision. It's not a dream. It's a shift. But it starts with one person. You. This isn't just self-help. It's self-liberation. Because when you break free from fear, you become dangerous to the systems built on it. You stop consuming what you don't need. You stop obeying what you don't believe. You stop playing roles that shrink you. You become fully alive. You become someone who can love without fear of loss. Create without fear of failure. Connect without fear of rejection. Live without fear of death. And that's the kind of human this world needs now more than ever. Because we're at a turning point. The old systems, built on fear, are cracking. The tension is rising. The risks are growing. Miscalculation could mean collapse. Overpowered weapons, unstable leadership, fragile egos with godlike tools, that's the edge we walk. But collapse can be birth. If we choose it. We need new systems built from a different foundation. From trust. From wisdom. From love. From wholeness. It means reimagining education, to teach emotional awareness, not just facts. It means reinventing economies, to reward cooperation, not domination. It means redefining leadership, not as control, but as care. It means building technology aligned with human values, not just competitive advantage. These aren't fantasies. They're necessities. But systems don't change unless people do. So start with yourself. Look your fears in the eye. The fear of loss. The fear of being alone. The fear of meaninglessness. See them. Sit with them. And then walk forward anyway. Because the more you live from truth, the more you invite others to do the same. We don't need more perfection. We need more courage. And that begins with you, today. If this message stirred something in you, if it cracked open even one layer of numbness, subscribe to this channel. Because this isn't just about learning. It's about remembering that you were never meant to live in fear. You were meant to live free. And freedom starts not when the world changes, but when you do. Fear built this world. But you can help build the next. Let's begin, together. Subscribe now.